Hey guys, we've got some breaking news. The world's most popular Toyota truck is all new. And of course, I'm not talking about the Tacoma or the Tundra. What am I talking about, Andre?
You're talking about the next generation of the Toyota Hilux. We have all the details. Should we talk about it?
Yeah, let's get right to it. So of course, the Hilux has been made, worldwide popular by Top Gear, where they tried to destroy it. It's a truck that we don't get, but the next generation may have some clues for what's going to happen with the Toyota Tacoma. But let's start with what's new. What is new about the Hilux, Andre?
Well, it's the face. You gotta check out the new design, because if you saw the previous generation next to this one, you would tell a difference immediately, even from 2 blocks away. The headlights are now squintier. There's a prominent center grille, as you could see here. And the whole front end, it just has that more upright look.
Yeah, it's much more angular, kind of in the same design language of the RAV4, the new RAV4 in some ways. But of course, the Hilux is much more to Toyota than just another pickup truck. This is a truck that is sold throughout the entire world. Unfortunately, not here, and that's because we've got the Tacoma, which is actually quite a bit bigger.
Exactly. So it's actually remarkable how different the Hilux and the new Tacoma are. You would think they'll be interchangeable, right? You could take parts from one and throw them on another, but they really have different wheelbases, different widths, different lengths, and we'll go over all those details now. And also, some journalists out there, like our friend Paul from Australia, from Car Expert Australia. Hi, Paul. Are also questioning, is this really the 9th generation Hilux like Toyota is saying?
Yeah,
or is this really a facelift, right?
Yeah, he's saying they didn't do enough. Of course, this was designed in Australia for a worldwide market. But let's get to the heart of the matter, and that, of course, is the powertrain. What is under the hood, Andre?
So it's a 2.8-liter turbo diesel, but they put a twist on it. Most trim levels, starting with the SR grade, are going to have a mild hybrid system, which is basically 48 volts, which is a little bit hard to explain, but it's kind of similar to the Ram e-torque system. So the truck is not able to drive on electricity alone. It's kind of a start-stop generator, right? So when the engine shuts down at the stoplight, the electric motor makes it a little bit smoother. And then it gives 11 horsepower boost when you accelerate.
So basically, it's an electric booster
Yes.
more than...
Not really a hybrid.
Yeah, not really a hybrid,
Yes.
because a hybrid, like a traditional Toyota hybrid, could actually run on electricity at some point. But what it does is it makes it a little bit more fuel efficient and a lot more livable.
Yeah, they updated the chassis. They said they made the frame a little bit more rigid, which is always good for a truck, which means you can redesign the suspension and also the motor mounts, right? So the motor, this engine produces 201 horsepower, this little turbo diesel, and 368 approximately pound-feet of torque, and it's available with 2 transmissions.
And what are those, Andre?
6-speed auto. So they're going really traditional, right? There are no 8 speeds, there are no 10 speeds here. So they're going kind of back to basics, a lot of what it had before. And there's also a 6-speed manual transmission. And when you get that manual in some of the work trucks, we have an image of a work truck also coming up, the torque comes down to about 310 pound-feet.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of having less torque because I went with manual as opposed to automatic, but that is the way of the world. Are there any other engines besides that 2.8-liter diesel?
Yeah, so they did throw something at us, actually a couple of things. So they also previewed what is an all-electric Hilux.
Oh.
So this is quite interesting. You could see it right here. So the styling is a little bit different from the basic base diesel model. The wheels are different. You could see kind of there's a plug going directly by the A-pillar, kind of in the front of the vehicle. And they did not provide a lot of specifications other than to say it's coming in the middle of 2026, and it's going to be coming to Australian markets, UK, Asian markets, markets other than North America.
One
basically.
or 2 motors. In other words, 2-wheel drive or all-wheel drive.
2 motors, so front and rear. They did say that, but they didn't talk about the battery size. They did say lithium-ion battery type. They didn't say specific chemistry, so they didn't talk about that. They didn't talk about range or power or acceleration. But look at this. It looks pretty sleek.
Yeah, and I think a lot of this is driven by maybe not here in America, but certainly in Europe, they have regulations coming that most vehicles have to be either electrified or all electric by 2030 or 35, depending on the country. So I think Toyota is looking ahead and seeing what the rules and regulations are, and so they are complying with that in much of the rest of the world markets. Any other powertrains?
Yes, they mentioned hydrogen fuel cell electric.
Wow.
So we were at SEMA just last week, right? And they didn't provide any pictures. We have concept images that Toyota shared.
Why is there a sumo wrestler in the middle of them?
I think that's the wheel arch, right? Is that like the wheel arch? There's a big sumo guy there.
I think it'd be cool if they actually put the little sumo guy, a sumo guy on their fuel
like
cell.
a logo.
Yeah, I am strong, like hydrogen.
So they showed a hydrogen fuel cell Mirai-powered Tacoma at SEMA.
Yeah.
So Toyota is really kind of trying to push this concept into our minds that they have a hydrogen fuel cell technology and they just want to kind of push it on us.
Well, hydrogen is kind of the holy grail for a lot of Japan, because Japan, as you know, doesn't have a lot of natural resources, and specifically oil. And with hydrogen, you could make it.
You could make it.
You could make it,
yes.
And so it becomes a question of becoming self-sufficient and not having to rely on oil from very volatile places in the rest of the world. So the Asian countries are looking at hydrogen seriously. We, of course, are not, because we've gone from like 60 hydrogen stations in LA and San Francisco to about 50. So I'm not sure that this is something that
we're going the other way.
We're going the wrong way, exactly.
But I was at the Toyota Technical Center in near Los Angeles, and they have hydrogen-powered semi-trucks running at the Port of Long Beach.
Yeah, Hyundai has its own hydrogen creation, I guess, factory, whatever you call it, place that makes hydrogen to power their semi-trucks. It certainly seems to be
Toyota.
seems to be going commercially. Let's go back to the interior of the Hilux.
Yeah, let's look at the interior, because this is interesting.
Yeah.
So 12.3-inch center display. So, and by the way, the steering wheel in these pictures is on the other side. We're not quite used to that, but this is because this is Australia, right? Australia, Japan, and UK. That's how they drive. But look at the center console, dude. It reminds me of the Tacoma. So maybe they did reuse some components here.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of the very similar kind of shifter, which is great. So it's a real shifter. It's not a rotary knob or a push button.
Yeah.
I love that, and I love the fact that it's taken a little bit of that design language that I just saw in Japan from the Land Cruiser FJ. So very similar look, and I think Toyota's going for this very modern but yet still rugged look, and I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's really interesting, and so they didn't talk about like the towing and payload specs changing much. And actually, in the UK, I was just reading the UK press release. In the UK, it's only going to be available as a 4-door.
Yeah, makes sense.
So in Australia and maybe some other markets like Thailand or some Asian markets, the work truck. Cole, did you already show us the work truck?
The chassis cab.
The little chassis cab.
Yeah, that's
so the
cool.
little chassis cab is going to be available in some markets, not all. But there's a trend in the market in general, like in the US, fewer and fewer 2-door cab trucks are available, right? Like the Tacoma no longer has it here, the Chevy Colorado no longer has it here, the Ford Ranger no longer has it here. So, but the Hilux will in some markets.
Yeah, once upon a time, 2-door trucks were all the rage. But why not have 4 doors? And speaking of 4 doors, I actually got to sit in the current generation Hilux. And for all of you Hilux fans out there who wish the Toyota were to bring it here, you might be surprised how little room there is in the back seat of a Hilux.
Exactly. So
as compared to like a Tacoma. You got a comparison there, Andre.
Yeah, so the Hilux is about 3.1 inches narrower. So we're big guys.
Yeah, we'd have
and
less
we'll
shoulder room.
We probably would be rubbing elbows sitting in a Hilux. Also, the wheelbase, this is most remarkable, is about 10 inches shorter.
That's a lot.
On a 4-door Hilux than a 4-door Tacoma. So it's actually quite remarkable how different the two trucks are.
Yeah. What year was the Hilux first introduced, Andre?
1968.
Really? It's been how many generations?
You were
now?
in high school back then, right?
Yes. No, I was in my 30s, Andre. Just finishing.
No. 1968. So, of course, the little Toyota pickup was also in the U.S., right?
Yeah.
Before the Tacoma ever was the name, Toyota had little pickups and also the Stout.
I remember the Stout.
Yeah, the Stout. Dude, so this makes it interesting.
How many generations now? How much is this?
They're calling it the 9th.
The 9th. Wow,
tonight.
that's a lot. Yeah,
That's a lot of heritage.
that's a lot of heritage.
But this brings up a point in my mind, a question in my mind. Will we see electrification in Tacoma because they're electrifying the Hilux? Will we see for real, not just a concept, but fuel cell electric Tacoma in our market?
Let me ask you this. Does this generation of Hilux actually share anything with the Tacoma?
Well, it's the chassis, really.
Oh, okay.
So our friend Mike Swears, who's the Toyota chief engineer that we've interviewed many times. Of the Tundra.
Yep.
He was in Japan. You know, they have rotations. Engineers change, they move around the globe. And he actually designed that platform, TNGAF platform, that underpins everything. Tundra, Sequoia, the Forerunner, the Land Cruisers.
So what you're saying is the Tacoma and the Hilux are on the same chassis.
Well, it's the same, like maybe frame rails, some other
yeah.
architecture, but they're different widths, lengths, etc. So if one goes to a technology like hybrid,
Hey, throw some more pictures up while we're talking. I think people want to see it, Cole. So just kind of zip through those. Yeah, that color is very similar to your old Colorado, Andre.
yeah, but our teammates here say it's better than my Colorado.
What did Ken call your Colorado?
I don't want to say.
Something about cow
And go into the bathroom.
That's what he called it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think this is way better than a cow going to the bathroom.
Number one, not number two. This is Ken. You know what? I like that color. You know, it's very similar to that Canyon AT4X that we have right now in the fleet.
Yeah.
And do we know payload, towing? Do we
So
know
the
any of
towing is still 3.5 tons,
Okay.
kilograms, which translates to 7,700 pounds, which is very similar to what mid-sized trucks can do here in the U.S. Payload wasn't specific, but I think it's going to stay about the same as it was, which is a pretty high rating. But dude, I was recently in England, and I saw the narrow roads that they have there. So it kind of makes sense why the Hilux in England and Australia and other markets with narrow roads, it makes sense why it's smaller.
Sure. All right. And of course, the most important questions that people are wondering about, how about pricing? Do we know pricing yet? Has it been announced? Oh, I didn't
No,
think
but
so.
it goes on sale in December. So just
Ooh,
in a
coming
month.
up quick.
In Australia, if you're in Australia, if you're friends and viewers from Australia, you can run out and already start ordering these.
You know what's a head scratcher for me? I was just in Japan at the Tokyo Mobility Show, and they, of course, had the new Land Cruiser FJ. They had the new Century, but nor hide nor hair of any
No Hiluxes, huh?
Yeah, and that you would think, as one of the world's most popular pickup trucks, that they would have had this thing and not wait a week to announce it. Maybe they didn't want to take the shine off the Century. They had a big van.
Lexus van?
Yeah, I think they would have done better with this. This would have created a lot more buzz.
I know.
I like it, Andre. I always love the forbidden fruit that we don't get. And the question, of course, is, will this chassis and maybe this design come back to America? Because I think Toyota is working on a smaller pickup truck that will...
Like a Maverick size, right?
Yeah. And of course, Ford is also working on an electrified version of a smaller pickup truck. It seems like, we've gone from the world being enamored by full-size trucks to now mid-size trucks to now small trucks. And the Maverick, I think, led the way.
Yeah, and it's a huge seller in the U.S., right? So that makes a lot of sense. Well, let us know what you think in the comments below. Check out oldtfl.com. And as always, we'll bring you all pickup truck news right here.
Yeah, and if Toyota's got one running around here, let us borrow it. We'd love to test it, especially the manual.
If you're doing high altitude elevation testing, Toyota, call us.
Yeah, or fly us to Japan.
Or Australia.
Oh, that's a long
man.
flight. That would be
that would be something.
Take that in the Outback.
Oh, yes.
Heck yeah, I want the chassis cab, though.
Especially with a 6-speed manual and a diesel.
And a chassis cab.
Yes.
Yeah, all right. We'll see you guys next time. Remember, go to...
oldtfl.com.
Ciao.